My whole life was built around everything he'd ever done. And everything I'm still doing today is because of George.
He is the grandfather of all independent watchmakers of the 20th century.
This idea, this notion of making handmade watches was something that George created single-handedly. I first collaborated with George Daniels in 1998 with the Millennium Project.
George, I was wondering if you could have a look at this, please.
I always describe it as the finest finishing school you could wish to go on.
Yes, it's not advancing the calendar wheel, is it?
Yeah.
George brought me in as a young pair of eyes. Working with George was quite remarkable. He was known to be quite fearsome. I remember the first 9 months were very intense, but what I also took from that was he was so approachable. He was there to listen and to assist, and suddenly I realised that this possibly terrifying person wasn't that terrifying.
What was really remarkable about the fact that they became a team was that George didn't make watches with other people before this time. So it was quite remarkable that he was able to collaborate with Roger in a really meaningful and substantive way. I met George Daniels my first month at Sotheby's, but I knew of him before that. And he was a bit gruff, and he always said what was on his mind. He never held back. It was magical.
You know, he always talked very fondly about his time here at Sotheby's. For him, it was, again, another learning phase of his career. There was one story that he told me where he'd heard that a very eminent American watch collector was going to sell his complete collection. And George he really wanted to get this in through the doors of Sotheby's. George immediately booked a Concorde flight to fly him out that day. This collector was so blown away that somebody would jump on Concorde and fly out and meet him that he just gave the whole collection to George. But that was George. He was very, very driven.
As he got more and more involved with his wristwatches, he didn't have as much time for us, unfortunately. No one was doing independent watchmaking, which is what it's come known as. And he did everything. He did the cases, he did the movements, he did the dials. You know, he did everything by hand. And what differentiated him as well is the fact that he created the first real innovation in an escapement in over 250 years, which was the co-axial, which did not require oil, which made it so revolutionary.
George always said to me, he said, you've got to try and make a difference. You've got to try and improve the mechanical timekeeper, and that is my focus. So today in my workshop, we have 15 staff members, incredibly highly skilled watchmakers, making watches that I'm incredibly proud of. These watches are incredibly rare. They're all handmade. This idea where one man designs and builds a complete watch from start to finish. That's something that George did, and I will do probably till the day I drop dead. What an impact he's had on my life. It's been incredible.